What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Now, I had to make this video. It's a follow-up, and it's not, I'm going to talk about some examples, but this is just a freestyle like all my videos, but I just want to freestyle on the subject. I'm in my hotel room in Las Vegas, and let's get into it. I want to talk about the art of boxing, the sweet science versus this whole running. This whole running concept is a ploy, right? And what I mean by a ploy is it's something that is usually used by either like the casual fans or even the fighters who don't want to admit defeat. Point blank, period, right? People oftentimes they can't accept defeat. A lot of people are poor sports. And when someone's used to winning, Victor Postal or whoever, Donaire, and then when they have to face that music and lose for the first time in a while, like Donaire, he had one early loss in his career, but he had been dominant for so long. Sometimes you hear about injuries that they came into the fight with, or this person ran like a chicken and I was pushing to make the fight, right? But that's a cop-out. Point blank, period. I respect these fighters. You lace them up, I respect you. But it's a cop-out, and I'm getting tired of hearing about it because after every time after somebody boxes someone's ears off in a dominant fashion, it's too cliche. It's like clockwork. Oh, he ran. Floyd Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero. Oh, he ran. But if you go Google this, I challenge you guys. Google Floyd Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero fight photos, and every single picture you will see will either show Floyd evading punches or blasting Robert Guerrero and rocking his head back, right? You're not going to see all these shots of sweat flying off of Floyd Mayweather's bald head and Floyd Mayweather on the ropes getting uppercutted to death. You're not going to find photos like that. You maybe with Floyd versus Maidana, but you're not going to find it like with Robert Guerrero or even the Canelo. There's not that many action shots that for certain fights, you know what I mean? Same thing with Victor Postal versus Terrence Crawford. A day or two when all the people upload their photo work, their photography, I was at the fight live. You're not gonna find a gang of photos where Victor Postal was landing all these significant punches. Like, it's a photo, so you might catch a few, but you're not gonna have the same gallery as Terrence Crawford because we know who was dominant. So I'm sick of this whole running nonsense. The running nonsense is garbage. If you're good enough, then you find a way, right? And the thing is, it's gotten out of hand with certain fighters. A lot of times it's black fighters that they get blamed. Oh, he just ran. I've heard people even say Timothy Bradley ran versus Ruslan Provodnikov, or Adrian Broner ran versus Maidana. Actually, people are dumb as fuck, because if they did run, then they probably would have had better performances. You know what I mean? Timothy Bradley was getting lumped up. He had a concussion in that fight with Provodnikov because he had this chip on his shoulder and he was fighting that way. Broner got knocked down twice by Maidana and got lumped up in that first half of the fight. And that's because he doesn't use his legs, because he fights flat-footed. So it's a lot of times people use it in a stereotypical fashion. And it's not just black fighters. There's other fighters who have a slick style. And I said this in my post-fight. We look at Terrence Crawford versus Victor Postal. Point blank, period. Postal is a good fighter, but he's more straight up and down. Terrence Crawford gives you different looks, right? So it's like Walmart versus, and I say Walmart in the best possible way, but listen to the example so you know. Like, don't compare Bud to Walmart, man. Listen, it's like Walmart versus a CD store, right? If you go to a CD store, then they're probably gonna have CDs, maybe records and albums, possibly like DVDs, some posters, and that's it. You go to Walmart, it's a one-stop shop. You can get pet food, you can get CDs, you can get Blu-rays and movies, you can get t-shirts, men, women, kids clothes, you can get perfume, you could get your car tires rotated. That's what Walmart is. It's a one-stop shop. They have groceries now, right? Makeup, watches, umbrellas. That's what a lot of times the fighters that get called runners are. They are the Walmarts, meaning they have a variety of different things they do, and they can do them well. Terrence Crawford, for example, he's a switch hitter. Pause. He knows how to mix it up and when to be aggressive and who to be aggressive with. These are all important things. right? That's what makes someone a complete fighter. You look at Victor Postal, he's gonna look like a phenomenal boxer based on the stylistic matchup, but when he's in there with someone who can match wits with him and does it in a more athletic and supreme fashion, then he's gonna look like he did yesterday, because his style of boxing is great. The Ukraine boxing school is great, but if you look at like other Ukraine fighters, not Lomachenko is one that he's a lot different than some of the other Ukraine dominant fighters or whatever. Lomachenko got rhythm. He's very fluid with his punches. Like he's loose and lax in there. But if you look at like Klitschko or if you look at Victor Postal, their styles are a bit more mechanical and robotic. Still effective, but it's not the same as other fighters with rhythmic movements and a different ability. It's just like kind of like you look at like a Pacquiao. The way Pacquiao fights is different than a lot of people. He's very unorthodox, in and out movements, hit you from weird angles and a jump. He does stuff that they wouldn't teach you to do in a boxing school, right? Just come in all crazy, but it's effective for him. So people got to fight their own style, but this whole running shit is garbage, where people are now using that as a scapegoat. And I actually look forward to it, not in a good way, but I look forward to it. Every time I can watch a fight that goes to decision, and I can automatically tell you how the fighters, their trainers, based on the performance and based on what was said before the fight, are going to respond and react after they get boxed, their heads boxed in, and there's a masterclass boxing. And people got to start appreciating all the styles. Me, I love brawlers. I like slick fighters. Me personally, I love the boxer puncher. I love like skillful boxer punchers. That's probably the best style because it's a bit of both. I can watch anything. I like all the fights. Like I have guilty pleasure type of fighters that are all like pure brawlers or not known for techniques. You know what I mean? Like Maidana's one of those where he's not necessarily fundamentally sound and super athletic, but he gets the job done. So I like different styles, but the bottom line is you got to give credit and stop taking away credit from people that deserve it. Going into the Postal fight with Crawford, people were saying it's 50-50. Postal was too tall, he was too big, his jab was too good. A lot of people were saying Postal will pull the upset. Everybody was saying this was the best fight at 140. So you can't change it now, you know what I mean? And the difference between me and a lot of people don't have the time, they don't have the gall or whatever their situation is to do what I'm doing. And I'm not saying everyone wants to be like a boxing analyst or commentator or whatever, but the difference is the things that I say before and after the fight are all documented. So people hold me to that. When I picked Adrian Broner, I said, I really wanted to pick Sean Porter. I said this, my post-fight video is still up. I said I really was going to pick Porter over Broner, but I'm leaning towards Broner now just because I think he'll find a way to get it done, and I explained it. I was wrong, right? I got on here. I had no problem admitting I was wrong. But see, that's the difference. I'm a real man about it, and I don't care. Like, it's not that serious. If I was wrong, I was wrong. Wrong is wrong is wrong. And I can get on here and face some music. But a lot of fans can't, and they change their perspective. Now I'm hearing, oh, Postal was overrated, or when Mayweather beats Canelo, oh, he's too green. If his ass was too green, then why did you want his too green ass to fight him to begin with? Because you go look at the comments predating the actual fight, people said Mayweather's afraid of Canelo, right? Because Canelo wanted to fight. They both had a fight in place. Canelo's supposed to fight Trout, and Mayweather's supposed to fight Guerrero. Both had fights in place. Mayweather says, you're not the A side. You don't tell me what to do. We'll talk about it after our next fights. But Canelo wanted a written contract, and he pulled himself off of the undercard because he couldn't get that. People said Mayweather was ducking Canelo. They said he was too big and too young and too strong, because you have to keep in mind, Canelo was undefeated. He had already ran through plenty of guys with good enough names. You know what I mean? Like the Centrons, Josito Lopez, he beat Shane Mosley and Carlos Baldomir. So people were saying that. Now they want to change it. Like, oh, no, Canelo, he was too green. No, you don't do that. Same thing with Victor Postal. I'm reading comments like, oh, Postal's not the dude. If Andre Ward beats Kovalev, then people will come out the woodwork saying Kovalev wasn't all that, or Isaac Chilemba exposed him. I mean, this is the fight game, man. Win, lose, or draw. you got to get the job done. So the running excuse is getting lame and it's getting played out, and nobody believes you. Like Jay-Z said, nobody believes you. You need more people. That it's not working anymore. Oh, he ran. That's why he lost. He ran. If somebody is running, okay, here's a perfect example for. I just thought of this too. I'm happy. So let's say I'm a police officer and I pull somebody over. Get out the car, let me search you. They know they have drugs on them, they have a weapon on them, whatever the situation. They have warrants, and they break off and start running. It is my civil duty as a fucking cop to try to catch them, to try to apprehend them using regular ethical tactics, right? Chase them down. I mean, you see cops. That was, popular show from the 90s. Everybody watched it. Bad boy, what you go? Right? Everybody watched it. So people running down alleys, you got to run down that alley. They hop a fence, you got to hop a fence. And at least the ones that they showed on the actual cops episode, a lot of times those guys did get caught when they start booking, running through somebody's house or jump through, they're hiding, running through the house or whatever, the jumping fences and stuff like that. A lot of times the episodes they show, they apprehended the person. So same thing with boxing. If Crawford allegedly ran, he's in a confined space with ropes. You know what I mean? Crawford's not getting out of the ropes. Mayweather, Rigondeaux, whoever quote unquote runs, they're not leaving the facility. They're in a confined space, and it's a tight space, right? So where are they running to? How can you not box them off, right? And it's your duty to figure it out, just like a cop's duty would be to apprehend that criminal. It's a danger to society. I swore an oath to protect the community. So it's my job to catch that person. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's jumping fences and all types of shit. He's running down alleys, and I'm not doing all that. Or if someone gets in their car and it's a high-speed chase, you fucking chase after him. Do whatever you have to do to apprehend him. Oh man, he got a Hemi engine. I'm not racing after him. That's stupid. So it's a cop-out. It's pitiful, and people got to stop it. So at least as fans with new media, just learn to understand why it's being done, why it's said. It's a way to save face. Well, he ran. That's why I was making the fight. No, because if you're making the fight, this is the other thing. Aside from the picture example that I said about Googling pictures, is all these people are allegedly running and they have nothing for you. Then why don't you just bum rush them? Why don't you bum rush them, show them no respect, because you know you will get countered and you might even get knocked out, depending on what fight you're talking about. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. They don't want to do that because they're not willing to take the risk. So it's funny that the person who calls the other person a runner is not usually the one who's willing to go out on their shield. I use this example in my post fight. James Kirkland got knocked out because he was willing to go out on his shield. He was at least like, oh, I'm going to make this the fight. This is how I fight. And he stayed true to that. And as a result, he got knocked out. And I feel like a lot of the people who call the other fighters runners, they would get knocked out too, or knocked down, or embarrassed worse if they got more aggressive. You got to keep in mind, if somebody's up 6-7 rounds and you got to open yourself up by getting more aggressive, then you're falling perfectly into their plans, into their trap, because they know, okay, it's crunch time. They need some rounds. They need something big. So all the person who's up, who quote unquote runs, has to do is stay away from like big power shots. Don't give up any big shots that let the person back in the game, and keep fighting the fight that's been working for them. It's up to the other person to make those adjustments and make those changes so they can have a better fight or a better performance. And it's usually, I've noticed a pattern. Usually the person who's calling the other person a runner is the one who's not willing to go out on their shield, because they know if they do and they open up even more, then it's going to be even worse for them. Like, you look at Robert Guerrero versus Mayweather, because that's a famous example of post-fight where he ran, bro. He ran like a chicken and all that, right? So Mayweather was piecing him up. I think round 6 or 7, it looked like Mayweather possibly was going to stop Robert Guerrero, right? So his face was bloody, the whole 9. So the only way Robert Guerrero could win is by knocking out Mayweather when it got to those later rounds. So the point being is this: if he's already getting lumped up and he's being somewhat economical, he's not just going for broke, what do you think would happen if he opened up even more? Mayweather's already surgical and he's already hitting him with precise punches. What do you think's gonna happen? Same thing with Victor Postal. Postal couldn't figure it out versus Terrence Crawford, and guess what? He was still getting hurt. When did you see Crawford hurt, buckled? I seen him hurt in the Gamboa fight, and Crawford went on record after this fight saying, still to this day, Yuriorkis Gamboa has been my toughest fight. And I don't think anyone who watched all of Crawford's recent fights can dispute that. Gamboa gave him work. I had Gamboa up 5 or 6 rounds. And it's, again, styles make fights. Gamboa's athletic. He has power. He has a really, like, kind of cocky style of fight. Postal didn't have that. Postal, when the going got tough and what would work on Selçuk Aydin or Lucas Matisse failed him in this fight, he didn't know what to do. Just like Klitschko. When Klitschko uses his weight, he uses his jab against shorter, smaller fighters like Povetkin, Manuel Char, and then when he got in there with Tyson Fury, someone who could match him in height and was just feinting a lot, he didn't know what to do, and he froze. You can't blame the other fighter. You know what I mean? You have to win. So if whatever someone's doing, you have to find a way to negate that. And that's what it is. So this running shit sounds garbage. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.